Hello and welcome to CrowdScience on the BBC World Service. I'm Caroline Steele and this is the show where we dig into your science questions. And right now, massage therapist Cecilia is digging into me.
Is the pressure okay?
Yeah, the pressure's good. That's because on this episode we're talking all about massage. And yep, right now I'm lying on a massage table. You might be able to hear that my face sounds a little bit squashed, and that's because my head is poking through a hole. So I'll be enjoying this while Cecilia tells you a bit about what she's doing.
The initial strokes that you do as a massage therapist when you start off the massage, we do to just feel how the muscle feels, and then it also maps out where there might be any tensions or tightnesses so that we can work on that area. And then you gradually put on more pressure, and then in the end you do the same thing. You map it over and see if there has been any tissue change.
So, Cecilia, you're giving me this great massage. Could you let me know what kind of massage is it you're doing?
So I would say right now is a little bit more of deep tissue massage, which is a little bit deeper into the muscles and working a little bit more aches and pains. Combined with a little bit of Swedish, which is the classic relaxing massage.
I've been lucky enough to find myself face down on a massage table for work, all thanks to a question from listener Catherine in the USA.
So I'm wondering why it makes our muscles feel good when they're sore when we rub them like a massage.
So what made you think of this question?
I do yoga a lot with the kids, and I also was talking to my daughter about how muscles only contract, and the reason that they get sore is because you develop a lot of tiny tears in your muscles as you work them. So there were a lot of follow-up questions to that. How do your muscles get better? And it just became like increasingly strange that one of the things that you would like to do with damaged tissue is to like poke at it. Because if it were, other kinds of tissue, that would be a terrible idea to touch it and muck around.
Your kids have a great point.
Yeah.
So, what do you think happens when we have a massage?
Maybe the muscle fiber is doing something different. And so if it has to contract all the time, maybe it builds up a substance that you get rid of when you press on it or stretch it out.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I've heard stuff about, something like lactic acid needs releasing, but it all sounds a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Massage has been used to heal our aches and pains for over 3,000 years. But I have to admit, I'm a bit of a skeptic. I'm not going to turn down one if it's offered to me. It does feel good, but is it actually doing good? I've heard people claim that massage can reduce pain, flush out toxins, boost your immune system, and even prevent depression. But how much of that, if any, is true? The perfect person to start helping us separate fact from fiction is Mark Tarnopolsky, a professor of medicine who studies neuromuscular disorders and a massage skeptic turned convert.
When I was younger, I did a lot of races, represented Canada in ski orienteering, winter triathlon, was a professional duathlete, then got into trail racing. I was 42 and won a 25K trail run and thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I'm still racing like a youngster. So little did I know that exactly 1 week later, I jumped in the water to go water skiing, and I had a ski that was too small. So being a stubborn person, I kept hanging on. And then all of a sudden, boom, I felt this tear, and I ripped all my hamstrings off the back of my leg. Oh. And then the leg kept going. Then I tore the blood vessel off the back of my leg. Then I ripped my sciatic nerve. So I had them all reconstructed. And as part of the recovery, I had physiotherapy and massage. And prior to this, I had never really thought about massage. I questioned what the value was. And the massage therapist and physiotherapist said it was, lactate flushing out, which I didn't believe. So I said, we should really look at this.
Massage became a crucial part of Mark's recovery. which came as a surprise because Mark used to be the athlete who would turn down a free massage offered to him at the end of a race.
Previously, I'd pass the massage table, even though I'd win the race and I didn't have to queue. But then afterwards, I never got back to my former self, and coming fourth or fifth or sixth, I had to queue up for the massage. But after our research, I said, this is amazing. I'm definitely going to wait for the massage now.
If only you'd known it back when you were at the front of the queue.
Absolutely, yeah.
There is so much going on when we get a massage. Our muscles are being moved, pressure is being applied, and we're receiving human touch. But which of these things is benefiting us when we get a massage? I think we need to zoom in, inside our muscles themselves, to see what's going on a cellular level when we get a massage. Mark has studied this by looking at the effects of massage on the body after exercise. But first, what happens to our muscles when we exert ourselves?
The muscle is under an energy stress. So what happens is we increase the delivery of oxygen and fuel to our muscle. So our heart rate goes up, our cardiac output pushes more blood and nutrients to the muscle. The muscle then pulls in fats and sugars to be utilized for energy. Early on, we start to break down fuels that are within the muscle. So these ultimately end up providing energy to the energy furnace in our cell called the mitochondria, which is the ultimate site where the oxygen we breathe and the food that we've eaten is then used almost like a fire to create energy. There's also some micro tears that starts to happen if we push too hard or for too long.
And then we stop exercising. What happens to our muscles after exercise?
After exercise is the repair time. And this happens every time we do exercise. So there's inflammatory cells which come in, which is part of the reason why we have discomfort 24 to 48 hours later. And that sort of eats up some of the micro tears, some of the damage. Then our DNA produces more proteins and we rebuild those micro tears and we sort of patch up or fix the muscle that's been damaged.
Listener Catherine was spot on. We do get tiny tears in our muscles when we exercise. And afterwards, we produce inflammatory cells and proteins to fix that damage. But how does massage help with this? To find out, Mark and his research team took 11 young athletic men and got them to do hard exercise on a bike. Really hard exercise, to the point of exhaustion. Then Mark rewarded the participants with a massage on their leg. But just the one leg, the other was left alone for comparison. A biopsy was taken. A tiny bit of muscle was removed from the men's legs before exercise, straight after exercise, and then a couple of hours after the massage. Mark found evidence that the muscle in the massaged leg was healing faster than in the non-massaged leg, because more mitochondria were being produced, which is a sign of repair as they're increased and improved after exercise.
The second part of our study was inflammation. When we do vigorous exercise, there is that inflammation. And the inflammation can be triggered much the same way as we can trigger increase in mitochondria. We can activate inflammation with proteins going into the nucleus. That's that brain part of our cell called the nucleus. And indeed, when we looked at some markers of inflammation, that was lower in the massaged leg 2.5 hours after the massage.
So Mark and his team found massage reduces inflammation and replaces mitochondria, both of which help repair muscles quicker after exercise. Now that we know there is science behind massage, I think it's time to do some massage myth-busting. Listener Catherine wondered if by pressing on the muscle, you're getting rid of some substance that builds up in it. And I've heard that massage can flush out lactic acid, or lactate. But what is lactate, and does massage really make any difference?
Yeah, so lactate is essentially a molecule that is made when our muscles exercise. Lactate comes generally at the onset of exercise because when we go from resting to exercise, there's a period where there's relatively little oxygen that's been delivered to the muscle. On the weekend, I switched to a different type of skiing from skate to classic, so you use your hip flexors more, and tried to keep up with the university ski team guys. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm taking my arms and I'm lifting my leg into the car because the muscles in the front of my leg were so sore. That's delayed onset muscle soreness. Now, if we do a biopsy of that muscle, there is absolutely no increase in lactate. It is damage and inflammation that's occurred. And so the lactate theory that people thought that, you finish a race and you get massage and your legs feel better the next day because you flushed out the lactate, it was nonsensical to me. It just didn't make any sense because we knew lactate's gone anyhow within, a few minutes. And sure enough, we measured lactate just to be sure in our study inside the muscle through our muscle biopsy. And there was absolutely no difference between the massaged and the non-massaged leg.
Mark also studies myocardial disease, a genetic disorder where, among other things, people are unable to make lactate. But they still get sore muscles when they exercise, so it can't be lactate that causes it. So, massage getting rid of lactate is in fact a myth. But what about drinking water after a massage? After the ones I've had, I've been told to drink lots of water to flush out toxins that have been released during the massage. Is that good advice or just nonsense too?
From a scientific perspective, we think it's nonsense. Lactate is the largest concentration of, a so-called metabolic byproduct, and that's not altered by massage. So it would seem inconceivable to me that if the most abundant and most dynamic thing that goes on after exercise at the chemical level isn't altered, I can't see how other quote-unquote toxins, and what do people mean by toxins? Is it some LSD that they took when they were a teenager that's hanging out in their fat? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hand-waving to me.
So massage has nothing to do with flushing out toxins. But it does help muscles to repair after exercise. But what about the aches and pains that come with not enough exercise? I'm thinking of those annoying knots that appear in my back, neck and shoulders after being stuck at my desk all day. Well, another listener, Stacy from Fiji, was wondering the same thing.
My question for CrowdScience is, what is the physiological underpinnings of muscle knots? And I'm a scientist, so I'm really interested in what's going on at that sort of biochemical level inside of you that makes it feel like there's ball bearings under your skin.
That's a good description. So what made you think of this question?
Well, I've had this chronic muscle knot along my left shoulder blade, and it came after I gave birth to my son, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense. But I had an emergency C-section, and I was rushed into the operating theater, and I think that someone must have yanked my arm really hard. And I didn't notice until after a week or so and the pain medications wore off from the operation that I actually was incredibly sore along my muscle, along my shoulder blade. And ever since then, I've had this chronic muscle knot.
Ah, that sounds so painful. I'm sorry. What have you done to try and get rid of it?
Well, the occasional massage, which partially helps. I try to do some yoga and swim when I can, and that alleviates it. But most of the time, especially through this pandemic, I've been sitting at my desk a lot, which doesn't help at all.
What is a muscle knot? Is your muscle literally tangled, or is it just a metaphor? I asked a physical therapy researcher who's been studying massage in Thailand for 4 decades.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Vichai Ungpinitpong. I am the Associate Professor in Physical Therapy at the Faculty of Associated Medical Sciences, Khon Kaen University, Thailand. Somehow, if the muscle got knot inside because of a chronic injury, it could be acute injury, then it will form the tightening of the muscle fiber.
Are you saying that that's basically kind of like a contracting muscle?
Yes. It's just some part of the muscle fiber. For example, as you say, your shoulder, when you work on the computer for a long time, and then you might feel a bit sore. The contracted muscle has a higher tension than the normal muscle. When we apply the pressure massage, just like Thai massage, then the knot release the tension on the muscle fiber release. Once you lift off your thumb or your hand, people will feel, oh, I feel relaxed. And according to our study, we found that after we release the pressure, the blood flow can go through that area twice or three times as compared to before.
Oh, wow. So after a massage, you saw blood flow increase to the area by 3 times.
Yeah.
That's loads.
Yes, exactly.
Why does increasing the blood flow to the area help with the knot or help with the pain? Why is that so important?
By theory, we think when people got the tight muscle fiber, it blocks the blood flow. Once we open the blockage or just get it released, the blood flow can go through freely through that area, and people feel, release the tension and reduce pain.
So is the lack of blood flow part of what's causing the pain in the first place?
Yeah.
But not everyone agrees with Weichai's theory that knots are areas of tight, contracted muscle causing pain by blocking blood flow. Some scientists think it might just be inflamed nerves, making the area feel more sensitive even though there's nothing more going on than some pain receptors unnecessarily firing. And others think knots might be entirely psychosomatic, only existing inside our heads. And the reason why scientists can't untangle what muscle knots are is because they're so hard to study. Mark again.
When I do a muscle biopsy, I've done it in the biceps, I've done it in your deltoid, which is where you get your immunizations, but usually we do it in the quadricep, which is the big muscle on the outside of your leg. And the reason for that, it's safety. So most knots, however, are in your neck muscles. So sticking a pen-like structure into someone's neck muscles, oof. I'm not very keen on doing that, so we don't do it.
I'm not keen on you doing that either. That sounds awful.
Right.
Sounds bad enough in your leg, let alone in your neck.
The point being is that it's really hard to study what a knot is. I'm firmly convinced that it is. Clearly the massage does something, and whether that's desensitizing the pain, maybe these are hyper-contracted fibers, like they contract but they won't relax, but we know that massage is triggering something.
Just because we don't understand what knots are doesn't mean they don't exist. And regardless of the cause, most people agree that the best way to deal with a knot is to massage it. Which is exactly what massage therapist Cecilia did to the knots in my shoulder.
So this is a knot, just there.
Is that something you can fix?
Yeah. To fix a knot, we warm up the muscle and the tissue we're working on, okay. And then we go onto it, we hold it on.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Oh.
So then we hold it for 8 seconds. 1.
There is evidence to back up what Cecilia is doing. Weichai's research shows that massage reduces pain caused by knots.
And we let go.
Oh.
And then we do some strokes to just get the blood flow back through it.
Oh. Yeah, that felt a combination of excruciating and also really relaxing.
So let's see if we go over the same area, how it feels now.
Oh yeah, miles better.
There it is. The little bit that's left.
I'll give it like a 4 out of 10 in comparison to before.
And while I'm getting the knots in my shoulder worked out, we're working out what massage actually does and why it makes us feel so good. It is fiendishly difficult to study what a knot is, as, unsurprisingly, taking biopsies of people's necks, backs and shoulders isn't advised. But despite this, the evidence is there that massage does work. It reduces pain caused by knots and helps our muscles to repair after exercise. While it's become popular in the West more recently, Eastern traditions have known the benefits of massage for much longer. Old manuscripts and paintings show that formal styles of massage date back to ancient practices in India and China. Though the power of a back rub has probably been known for even longer.
According to the records, we found that people use Thai massage for more than 400 years. In the past, the Thai people do a lot of agricultural work. For example, farmers, after the working, feel achy pain in the muscle and somehow in the joint. Basically, just ask their spouse or their children, could you please do the massage so that we can feel better? Yeah, they just incorporate into everyday life. And they teach their children, generation after generation, how to do the massage.
After growing up in Thailand surrounded by massage, Wichai looked to see if there was any science to explain if it works. But he wasn't able to find anything, so he decided to do the research himself. Not only does massage ease pain caused by knots, Wichai and his team have also found that massage can reduce muscle, back and neck pain, as well as help with chronic pain like fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis. But aside from helping with problems people already have, Wichai found it may also help you to avoid getting sick in the future by improving your immune system.
We have a group of people who have diabetes, and these people have a very low immune system. And then we give Thai massage for them 2 times per week and follow up through 6 weeks. We did the blood test and look at the white blood cells. And what we found is so excited. Not just the pain has been relieved. The immune system has been boosted up.
Wichai's study was small, so there's only so much we can say from the results. But they hint that Thai massage can reduce the amount of poor quality immune cells in older people, boosting their immune system. Not bad for a back rub. So does Wichai think this might lead to us one day getting Thai massage on prescription?
Yes. I have to tell you, before we starting the research work, you cannot find the Thai massage in the healthcare system of Thailand. But according to our research work we have published, the Thai government, through the Ministry of Public Health, they realized that, oh, wow, this is good. Nowadays, more than 80% of the hospitals in Thailand have Thai massage service.
How often do you get a Thai massage?
Maybe twice a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because at my office, we do have the Thai massage service. I can walk in any time if I have,
What?
if I have free time, just walk in and get the Thai massage.
That's amazing. But so if you've got a free hour, you could go
Yes.
and in your office, you could go and get a Thai massage. Have you got any openings for any applications for prospective researchers? Can I come join you?
If possible, actually.
Right, well, I know where I'm moving to. I've actually had a massage in Thailand before, not in a medical setting, but I booked in for a local massage on the island of Koh Tao after hurting my lower back. The massage therapist pulled and twisted me in all different directions and even walked along my spine. I did feel better the next day, but the pain returned a few days later. I asked Wichai if he's found any evidence that massage works in the long term.
We found that it lasts about 2 or 3 days, and then it's gradually decreased to normal. That's the short term. And we also look at the long term. We repeat the massage 3 times a week. This is 1 hour massage for the whole body for 4 weeks. And for the long term, around 60 to 70% of the patient get cured after the massage for the long term.
And the good news is you don't have to go to Thailand to see these benefits. A study that compared Swedish and Thai massage found there to be nearly no difference in the physiological or psychological benefits. Maybe this is because a lot of the impact of massage isn't to do with exactly how our muscles are manoeuvred and manipulated, but is instead down to the simple fact that we are being touched. Our next guest literally wrote a book called Touch. Tiffany Field is the director of the Touch Research Institute at the University of Miami Health System, and she's an expert on what the research says about the impact of massage on both our physical and mental health.
We've done hundreds of studies, and we know that the pressure is what's key. You'll notice that massage therapists, the first thing they ask you 5 minutes into the massage is this pressure okay? One of the things that is very interesting about pressure is that message gets to the brain very quickly.
I've never thought about the fact that if you bang your elbow or bang your knee or whatever, your kind of instinctive reaction is just to clutch it and apply lots of pressure, which actually, now that I think about it, it is a bit counterintuitive because you'd think that you wouldn't want to kind of push down on an injury, but that is definitely your knee-jerk response.
And the reason you do that is because the pressure receptors are longer and they're more insulated than the pain receptors. So that message gets to the brain, the message of squeezing your elbow, gets to the brain faster than the pain message.
So you're kind of overriding the pain receptors by instead activating your pressure receptors, thereby reducing the pain.
That's exactly right. And they call that the gate theory. They say the pressure receptor message gets to the brain faster than the pain message, and it closes the gate to the pain message.
Although this gate control theory doesn't explain everything about how pain works, it goes a long way in helping us understand why we massage our temples when we have a headache, clutch our elbow after we bang it, and why hugging your child tightly when they fall over can help them feel better. The pressure on our skin eases pain.
When we get a massage, what's happening is your skin is being moved. And that in turn stimulates the pressure receptors under your skin. When the pressure receptors are stimulated, there's a message that goes to the brain, and it specifically goes to the vagus. And the vagus itself is the largest nerve with the most pathways throughout the body. So when the vagus gets stimulated, it sends a message back to several organs. So it slows down the heart, it helps digestion, it stimulates the GI tract. So once the vagus is stimulated, that basically slows down the nervous system. And when the nervous system is slowed down, fewer stress hormones are emitted.
If you're interested in learning more about the vagus nerve, we've done a whole episode about this amazing nerve superhighway. It's called How Does My Mind Talk to My Body? You can find it in our CrowdScience back catalogue on BBC Sounds or wherever you get your podcasts. Moving our skin doesn't just benefit our bodies, it also helps our minds.
There are chemicals that are associated with the skin being moved, like an increase in serotonin, which is the body's antidepressant and anti-pain neurotransmitter. So that's one of the reasons that there's less pain after a massage, and there's less depression, or people feel better after a massage.
So not only does massage reduce pain, inflammation, stress hormones, and heart rate, it can also improve our mental health. But can everyone enjoy these benefits? Listener Catherine mentioned that her kids like getting a massage.
Well, they like to have their backs rubbed, but I would not say that the favor is mutual, no. But yeah, they love it. My oldest is 11, and I don't know that they're at the age where they really get sore. They just run around all day and never seem to have a problem. But rubbing their backs does feel really good to them.
So I wonder if maybe they're getting something out of it just because it's touch and that's nice.
Right, yeah.
And Tiffany has studied the benefits of massage for children.
Primarily, massage helps children by helping them relax and sleep better. We've worked with children who have autism. We work with children who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And we've worked with children who have all kinds of autoimmune problems, asthma, diabetes. It basically helps children relax. And when children relax, the nervous system slows down. They're going to get more sleep. We actually have, in all our studies, parents massaging the children just before bedtime. And we say 10 or 15 minutes of a massage will really help them sleep.
How can you separate out the benefits of massage from the benefits of touch? So, for example, would someone just sort of stroking my back have the same effects as massage? Because I'm still getting that touch, I'm still getting that oxytocin rush.
You know, there's a difference between light stroking and the moderate pressure of moving the skin. And we've actually published 3 studies on infants and 1 study on adults showing that in order to have all the positive effects that we've been talking about, you need to apply moderate pressure. Light stroking has just the opposite effects. It's very arousing. It's like a tickle stimulus. So they're entirely different. If we lightly stroke someone and their heart rate increases, the blood pressure increases, their brain waves change in the direction of arousal, as opposed to when you move the skin, as in moderate pressure, you are decreasing heart rate, you're decreasing blood pressure, and you're changing brain waves in the direction of relaxation. So they're very different kinds of stimulation.
If, like me, you want to get all of the benefits of massage but can't afford to get one every few days, here are some top tips from Tiffany.
Everyone can afford massaging each other. When you use your hands to massage someone, or your arms or your elbow or whatever you're using, you're getting your pressure receptors stimulated in your hands and your arms. So the massager can benefit just as the massagee, and that's what we tell partners who are in our massage studies.
I'm just thinking about that next time I'm trying to persuade someone to give me a massage. I'll be like, well, it benefits you just as much as it benefits me, so...
Exactly. That's right. Think about all the things you do that stimulate pressure receptors. If you just walk across the floor, you're stimulating pressure receptors in your feet. If you're doing yoga, you're moving your limbs against the floor, against the ground, and you're, again, stimulating pressure receptors. Almost every exercise you can think of involves stimulating pressure receptors. If you self-massage, if you roll a tennis ball across your legs, you're going to be stimulating pressure receptors.
Oh, interesting. And also, I guess it means if you're on your own, you can still give yourself a massage and see all these benefits.
Yes, that's right. And, just lying on the floor and doing crunchies is going to be effective. It's like
that
one
might
of the
be the
best...
only way you manage to persuade me to do some crunches, is if it has the same benefits as massage.
Yeah, think about it. You're giving yourself an incredible back massage when you lie on the floor and do crunchies, or when you just lie on the floor and roll back and forth. My sense is that it's like diet and exercise. I think it's the same for touch. I think you need a daily dose of it. If you can't get it from someone else, you just have to figure out, the exercise you're going to do or the self-massage you're going to do in order to get enough.
Great. A daily dose of massage it is. Let's see if we can work that into the CrowdScience budget.
Chair massage at the workplace.
Yes,
right.
That would be great. People have believed in the healing effects of massage for thousands of years, but only in the last few decades have scientists started to study it. And the research agrees. Massage does have healing powers. It alleviates physical pain, and it can improve our mental health. And it doesn't really matter what kind of massage you choose. Swedish, Thai, massage from a friend, or you can even massage yourself. They all work. Like medical Dr. Mark, I've gone from massage skeptic to convert.
I'll just happily lie here and enjoy the massage. This is great.
Thank you.
I definitely feel very relaxed, which is kind of shocking given I've got an audience of 4 whilst I'm having this massage. While I'm busy relaxing, let's hand over to listeners Catherine and Stacy for the credits.
That's it for this edition of CrowdScience. Today's questions were from me, Catherine, in the US.
And me, Stacy, in Fiji. If you have a science question you'd like made into a show by the CrowdScience team, email crowdscience@bbc.co.uk.
This episode was produced by Sam Baker and presented by Caroline Steele. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
And thank you from me to massage therapist Cecilia from the London School of Massage.